final segment for today. And what I want, obviously, with the conversations that we have been having about obesity and healthy lifestyle and being able to look at just how healthy the food is that we eat, we're going to have a special segment. It's actually a mini documentary. It's talking about how some of the food in Belize, working with the Ministry of Health in terms of safety standards, it's actually the safety that protocols that are in place, tracing foods from the farm to our plates. So we're going to take a look at that now.
Have you ever wondered what takes place behind the scenes leading up to the preparation of your favorite dish? Well, enjoying a plate of rice and beans, chicken and salad, a perennial culinary treat, or a side of steakhouse perfect sirloin, on the higher end of course, begins in the pastures, paddy fields and barns in rural Belize. I'm here at Mom's Breakfast and Dinner, popularly known in the neighborhood simply as Jubois, to gorge myself on one of many choice meals. But before knuckling down to scoff this finger-licking plate of barbecue, I'll first retrace the countryside origins of what's in this styrofoam plate. A healthy serving of fleshy chicken breast, complemented with a generous helping of coleslaw, baked beans and flour tortillas, is a wholesome meal that is readily purchased at any barbecue stand across Belize City. What are often overlooked, however, are the handling, preparation and storage of produce in ways that prevent foodborne illnesses. To get a first-hand experience of how the chicken in my plate came to be, I journeyed by road to a Mennonite settlement 30 miles outside of Orange Walk town. Blue Creek, as it is known, is a chiefly agrarian and industrial community that provides a good deal of the country's foodstuffs. Perched atop one of many rolling hills in this blustery corner is Caribbean Chicken Limited, a modern processing plant specializing in poultry production. Heading operations at the facility is John Friesen.
We have been able to speed up our production from our old system where everything was reached from one place to the next place by hand. Our production was maximum 8,000 birds a day or 800 birds an hour. But going into this automated system, we speeded our production to the double capacity.
To produce that many chickens a day, the company has had to hire a sizable workforce. When production begins at 7 a.m., these men and women become totally engrossed in every stage of a fairly tedious process. At each level, sufficient care is taken to adhere to food safety standards between the industry and the market.
One of our aim is to make sure that all our product that are going out in the market is safe to consume for all Belizean people. That's our goal, that's our aim.
Achieving that end basically means that the plant has to comply with hazard analysis and critical control points, or HACCP regulations. These guidelines are a systematic preventative approach to food safety from biological, chemical and physical hazards in production processes that can cause the finished product to be unsafe. The Belize Agricultural Health Authority is one of several government agencies working to ensure that all procedures are being followed.
We have inspectors at the different slaughter facilities throughout Belize, but mainly in the northern and in the Cayo district. In the northern district, we have several facilities that the food safety inspectors they are present there, and we have the poultry and the beef and the pork. We have in Blue Creek, we have the Caribbean chicken, and we have for beef we have the Rainland, and in Shipyard we have several other facilities.
Here in Blue Creek, birds are delivered from one of several barns to the factory 3 days a week, where they are individually prepared for the local market.
We start from the dirty end. Chicken are coming to the plant as early as from 4 o'clock in the morning. They rest until 7 o'clock and when actual slaughter begins. So they go through the stunning procedure, and then the next is where they cut for bleeding, and then they have a time of like 2.5 to 3 minutes that the blood may drain for them to be properly clear. And then we have the scalding procedure, which is a little less than 2 minutes, and then plucking. The first little plucker takes off the yellow skin of the feet, and then the bigger one takes off the feather from the whole carcass.
From there, the body is carefully disemboweled, removing each organ and separating it from the remaining entrails.
The guts are being removed or taken out of the cavity, and then the liver is being removed, the heart and the gizzard, and then the guts are being thrown into the trash drain, which leads out of the processing plant.
It's a similar method being employed at Penner's meat producers in Shipyard, where cattle are slaughtered and processed for delivery to meat shops in Orange Walk, Belize City, and San Pedro. These half-ton Brahmas are inspected during what is known scientifically as an antemortem, before being butchered and the carcasses moved further along the production line.
As we look at the animals themselves, ensuring safety starts with the health of the animal. First of all, the animal is received at the facility with some kind of documentation that identifies that animal. We would also ask if there was any treatment given to the animal prior to being taken to the slaughter facility, and what kind of treatment to ensure that, there's nothing in there to affect the health of humans.
That's at the tail end of the bull's life. Before then, the calf is reared to maturity as part of an elephantine herd on a sprawling acreage where it is left to pasture.
Well, we have about 90 heads of cows here, and we're producing about 60 to 80 calves a year right now at this moment. But that's a very small part of the need for the year, what I need. The slaughter facility uses about 1,200 heads of cattle for the year. We're buying from Blue Creek and also in Shipyard from many farmers.
Shipyard, unlike its sister Mennonite communities, is the antithesis of what Blue Creek and Spanish Lookout are. Despite the obvious simplicities, John Penner runs one of the most sanitary and up-to-date slaughterhouses in the country.
Quality is very important for the people. Price is, for a lot of people, very important, but quality should be more important for people than price. I think at Penner's meat producers, they should get the best quality.
Back in Belize City, a team of public health officers is inspecting food stalls where tacos and other fast foods are being prepared. This routine check is also an essential part of food safety between the market and the consumer.
In terms of our inspection, what we look at is that food is actually kept safe. And in terms of keeping safe, we look at temperature control, be it cold or hot, and we look at whether the individuals are actually performing the preparation of food in a safe manner.
Food, as you know, can transmit disease from person to person, as well as serve as a growth medium for bacteria that can cause food poisoning. In developed countries, there are intricate standards of food preparation, whereas in lesser developed countries, the main issue is simply the availability of adequate safe water, which is usually a critical item.
Some of the things that we're looking for, number one, if the person has their valid food handler's permit, because that actually tells us that they have been through the training and they are very aware of what they should be doing in terms of food preparation. And then we proceed in terms of looking at how the food is stored, how the food is handled, and the sanitation practices in terms of the cleanliness of the area, the frequent washing of hands with soap and water, and actually the disposal of garbage.
Universally, food safety falls under ISO 22000, a level of quality developed by the International Organization for Standardization. It is linked to the presence of foodborne pathogens in food at the point of consumption. Since food safety hazards can occur at any stage in the food chain, it is essential that adequate controls be in place. Ergo, a combined effort of all parties through the food chain is required.
Food safety is a shared responsibility that is shared between the producers, the processors, the distributors, the vendors as well, and the consumers, because the consumers also have a role to play in food safety.
Your responsibility as consumers is to ensure that food must be served either hot or cold, depending on the kinds of food items, in order to prevent the growth of bacteria. For vendors and consumers alike, always wash hands properly to prevent the spread of germs to food. Equally as important, always use safe water and raw materials to prepare your food. And food must also be properly cooked so as to eradicate foodborne pathogens. So, the next time you purchase food or prepare a meal from scratch, consider the origin of the respective items and the processes they each underwent before reaching your plate.
We know you couldn't get enough with just 1 month and 100 ways. You can still enjoy 100 minutes and 100 texts each day in January, all for just $2.99. That's over $60 worth of talk for only $2.99 per day. Just dial *100 to activate and get 100 ways to show your DigiFriends and fam you care with Digicel. Expect more, get more. Always more with Digicel.
Wait, what? What's going on? Hungry, Mommy. But I guess I gotta make the appointment. Oh, I forgot to pay my bill.
Oh my god, I can't wait to have pasta, ice cream, and cheesecake.
May I take your order?
Just water for now, please.
Let's face it, life can get a little complicated. Simplify your life with Belize Bank Mobile. From paying bills,
Be right back, okay?
to salary deposit alerts, and so much more, all in the palm of your hand. No need for a computer, no need for internet. Enjoy great convenience and peace of mind with a few simple buttons. Come in before July 31st and get a free trial. And let Belize Bank Mobile simplify your life for the things that truly matter. Belize Bank, our country, your bank.
Everybody, when you talk about Ring Talk, what they talk about? Tacos. Everybody wants to know the secret about the tacos. What is it?
Chef extraordinaire Sean Quillen takes us on a culinary tour of the Orange Walk district. Join him as he discovers the source of some of Belize's most popular ingredients.
So we could make some recado from this?
From turning annatto into the ever-popular recado.
And you have to brace yourself, right?
To the grinding of corn to make hot tortillas.
So we'll fry the fish now.
Chef Quillen cooks up his own inspired Belizean cuisine in this segment of Great Belize Cooking, premiering Tuesday, January 26th at 8 p.m. right here on Channel 5.
And welcome back. Of course, that feature ties in very nicely with our first segment, which spoke about obesity and making some choices in terms of what we consume or choose to consume.
And also looking at food and food safety and some of the existing protocols that exist and some of the monitoring mechanisms that do take place. I think it's very important as well. We can talk about healthy food, but we also have to look at where we source our food and the processing that it goes through. And I think that being able to have a look into the process itself can give reassurance to some people that there is enough monitoring taking place to ensure that it is being done in a safe way.
And, you know, I think we were prompting Dr. Cuellar to talk a little bit about portioning and just making some choices. I think people will continue to consume what they like, but I think it's now at least making the choice to perhaps not eat a mountain of rice as opposed to, you know, perhaps a spoon of rice if you don't measure it out.
Yeah.
Just making some better choices in terms of that. And going back to what Ed Williams spoke about, because the other day I was talking to someone up north and they were talking about portion control and how that was the thing that stuck with them, and eating, you know, every 2 hours or every 3 hours as opposed to waiting until you're hungry.
Yeah.
And I think being professionals at times, you're drawn into meetings or into situations that may not 100% support that kind of existence, where you're just busy. So it's planning for all of that and making some better choices, taking snacks with you, healthy snacks, granola bars, nuts, etc. If you know, things of that nature, but always being prepared so that you can continue that lifestyle. And I think because it's such, initially it's such a change, it becomes work, but then after a while it becomes a habit and it becomes completely easier. So that's the important thing for people to remember.
Yeah, and you know, I think sometimes there's simple replacements that you can think about just to be able to cut down on what you intake. One of the things that we didn't talk about today, but I know would be absolutely essential, is looking at what we drink. And that's part of the thing that we don't always think about. There is the concern that people have with soda and the amount of sugars that's in there, but we have a lot of other sugary drinks. I mean, some of the juices that you buy aren't natural juices, and they're just loaded with sugar. And even I was pointing out to my nephew, which obviously makes me a very unpopular aunt, about the big iced teas that you buy, that those are actually three servings in one. And it's cool to drink the entire thing, but how much sugar are you getting? And just being able to try to get in as much water as you can, because when you're thirsty, yes, you need something to drink, but do you need a sugary drink? Because then you're just adding calories that you don't necessarily need. So, you know, there are a lot of little things, and I think we've had conversations before about just trying to educate people once again on the basics of nutrition. And I think most importantly within the school systems, there has to be a rethink of how we pass on this information. Because yes, I generally remember my food pyramid, but it has no consequence now on eating habits. It's relearning, or learning for the first time really, what the essence of good nutrition is. And I think it's perhaps something that we're lacking within our school systems. So, you know, you got to make it more hands-on. And hopefully we are lining up a topic as well to talk about how to cook healthier versions of things that we love. Because it is important. We're used to a certain way of eating, and it takes a bit of time to shift completely, and you don't want it to feel like the dreaded word diet. You don't want it to feel like you're being punished, or that eating is going to be something that you don't enjoy doing, but really finding a better way to do it that is actually better for your body.
And I think I like the fact that you're talking about choosing healthier options to replace what we may consider culture foods.
Yeah.
You know, you don't always have to. There are better ways for you to make hamburgers if you want to do that. You know, you can
even rice and beans. You can do brown rice and beans.
Yeah.
Some restaurants actually offer that as an option.
And you know, just instead of always consuming perhaps meat pies in a certain way, you can probably make it in a different way using ground turkey, cutting down on some of the fat, you know, things like that. So it's really up to you, and sometimes it sounds like we're always looking for ways to be better. And I think there's someone out in San Pedro, I'm trying to remember the name of that they offer meat pies, and they offer a wide variety from, you know, with lobster pies to, you know, so many other things that you're able to get a healthy alternative if you so choose.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I still think with meat pies you have to pay attention to the crust. That's part of the part of it. But, you know, I think the underlying factor is small changes will make a difference. And so we're going to keep with this topic for a while. So we'll have some other aspects that we will be able to share with you. Unfortunately, we weren't able to have our nutritionist today, but it doesn't mean we won't have that segment later on. As we continue the discussion, the statistics are clear. It is an issue we need to be addressing, and it is good for long-term health benefits as well. So with that, we got to wrap up our show for today. So remember, if you want to contact us, you can contact us at oye@channel5belize.com, Marlene_oye@channel5belize.com,
and William_oye@channel5belize.com. Have a great day, everybody. And be sure to join us tomorrow morning at 6:30 when you open your eyes to start. start your morning right. Until then, have a blessed day.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together